Rev up your engines. All right, people are saying Toyota quality is going down the toilet. Well, is that true? Is it not true? Let's find out. Okay, 2022, bought it used. And everything he wanted the V6, four-wheel drive. The only downside is it's made in Mexico. Now, they used to make half of them in San Antonio, half in Mexico. They're all made in Mexico, but be that as it may, I have had customers that bought these made in Mexico decades ago and have 250, 350,000 miles, no problems. They basically put them together there. They're not manufacturing the engines and transmissions in Mexico. They're pretty much putting them together. Now, what's under the hood is the main thing about this truck. You can't buy Tacomas anymore with these V6 engines. V6, non-turbo. Plenty of power. They get decent gas mileage for a V6 engine, but mainly they last almost forever with very little maintenance. They're all turbo 4s now. You can't get the V6. So he bought a nice low mileage V6 because that's what he wanted. He wanted simplicity. Now, he used to be a Toyota man. He owned 3 Toyotas, but then he made the mistake of buying a Jeep. He said it was the worst vehicle he ever had, so he traded it in and got this instead, and he is really happy. He was tired of going to various mechanics, and none of them could figure out what was wrong with it. Generally, not that much happens to these. Now, granted, the ones that they made in Mexico, some of them, they didn't do the weld right on the inside, and sometimes you gotta retorque the bolts that are there. It's really a very simple thing to do. It's a nothing job. I had to retorque the bolts on my Sons. It was no big deal. They weren't all that loose anyways. But the vehicles themselves pretty much are the old Toyota standard. They just run, and you don't have to think about anything except putting gas in them. Yeah, they use gas. They got a V6 engine, right? You want to get better gas mileage, don't buy a truck, because even if you get a 4-cylinder one, it's still going to use gas because it's a heavy vehicle. You can see they're real trucks. They have actual frames, see? Steel frames. You can see superficial rust, because here they get rust from the salt in the winter, but the aluminum, you can see that just holds stuff on. That's not a structural part. The aluminum will always get like that. The salt doesn't, but they have solid frames. You get a heavy solid frame vehicle, yeah, you're going to use fuel. That's just the way it is. And of course, you're going to pay extra for a Toyota because they can last so long. I've had customers, they'll either get one of these or they'll think a Nissan V6. The Nissan V6 will not last as long as these by any stretch of the imagination. But they also are a lot cheaper used because Nissan doesn't have such a good reputation. And it's deservedly so, too. They don't last as long, right? I have had customers buy the Nissans, and they were happy enough because they said, geez, the Toyota truck was about $18,000 more used than a Nissan, and if they weren't doing really heavy duty stuff with the Nissan and didn't put too many miles on, they still lasted for years. But I'll tell you one thing, this is a used vehicle. You see it's super clean, right? Toyota knows how to make them so they don't rot away. You look at some of the old Frontiers, the fenders are going to be rotten, the doors are going to be rotten because they are notorious rust buckets, where these Toyotas are not. Now, he bought this thing and it's going to the end of its 1-month warranty that he got, so we're going to go through the whole thing. And if we find anything wrong, he's taking it back to the dealer and they're going to have to fix it. So, and I love it because it still has a key, a regular key. Turn the key so the idiot lights are on. And here we go. Turn on the old big scan tool. And we'll see what shape this thing is. Considering, let's see how many miles it's got on it. 25,832 miles. It's already detected it. That was fast. Toyota, we'll do a standalone diagnosis. 2022 Tacoma V6 without smart key. We can see it's got all the electronics. You can do 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel high, 4-wheel low. Got the rear window that opens and closes in the back. Do a full topology scan. Here we go. And we'll look really nice interior. It's the faux leather. It's not real leather. It's fake leather. But they make it pretty well done. And now they finally got it integrated right. Your whole infotainment system. I think it's got a GPS thing and it said GPS signal lost. Keeps talking. So we'll see what's going on. And the other thing shows that the telematics transceiver has been disconnected for the GPS. You notice he couldn't access the GPS system. Not that he cares, he's going to use his phone, but if he wants, he can take it back to him and they can check that out. Most people never use the GPS system in the vehicle. Your phones work better, really. Start her up with the key, since it has a key, and we will look at live data. ECM. Here we go, and you remember, black is good, red is bad. We'll start looking through stuff. Everything looks good so far. Battery voltage is good. Throttle position sensor's working. Voltage at the battery. Body control module's good. So I mean, look at this. Sum of idle speed control feedback. Torque recent. You get some pretty complex stuff. Showing the fuel pressure on the high side. Okay, that's the high side. Remember, this is a dual system. It's got GDI and regular injectors. And see, then it's got the target fuel pressure, low pressure. Shows the volume and injection speed. Your fuel ratio is almost perfect, off 1/1000th of a percent. Short-term fuel trim 0, 0. That is perfect. Long-term fuel trim is 0. So basically it's running perfect. Variable valve time is all normal. As you can see, there's a tremendous amount of information. It just keeps going. It's all black, that's all good. I don't see any data that goes off. We're just looking to see if anything's red. It just shows you the amount of data this thing has. So, let's take it for a spin. Here we go. Got a decent backup camera on it. Nice and smooth, nice camera, smooth idle. It's the thing, these V6 engines. They're so smooth, they're not like a Turbo 4. They should have never stopped making these things, if you ask me. Super smooth transmission, and yes, it is a real automatic transmission. It has gears, it's not some crazy CVT thing. Or pickup truck, man, this thing's quiet. And not that bad, it's a pickup truck, it's 4-wheel drive, and this is a real bumpy road, and it's not too bad, but it is a pickup truck with a full frame. I realize that. This is not a smooth riding car, it's not what it is. It's a pickup truck with a solid frame. It can run forever, and if you do get in a wreck, it's got a solid frame, you can always fix them. Nobody coming to the right, people coming to the left, but they're pretty far away, so we'll give it some gas. Smooth, listen to that 6. Oh man, that is a smooth engine. It's got a nice sound too, it's almost V8-ish. Plenty of acceleration, but it's smooth powered. That's why I said they should have never gotten rid of these V6 engines. Which is why he bought this thing used. He didn't want a Turbo 4. Extremely stable driving platform. And of course everything works, AC, all that, it's a Toyota. I was wondering how they mowed the lawn in there, now I know. They got their John Deere out. The long extension, that's pretty cool. Plenty of power to make it through the green light. It's turning yellow, but it's an advanced green over there anyways. Now with the dual fuel system, this has GDI and port injectors. You never have to worry about carbon buildup in the engine. Okay, so what's my conclusion? Well, this still is a really well-built vehicle, even though it's made in Mexico. My son's, which is a year newer, it was made in Mexico too, and he hasn't had any problems with it. So, you know, people poo-poo Toyota. Hey, they just had the highest sales ever the last quarter worldwide. People are still buying them, and they're still making them pretty good. You know, the proof of the pudding is, look at the used ones. Okay, he bought this used, and he paid just about what a new one would cost. Some of these things are losing 2%, 4% over 3 years. You look at the other vehicles, they're losing 30%, 40%, 50%, 60% over 3 years. Not these things. Try to find one of these used cheap, you're not going to find it. That shows. The proof, where the rubber hits the road, they're still making pretty good vehicles that can last a really long time. Sure, they made mistakes, such as you can only get these in Turbo 4s. That's a mistake. This isn't a Turbo 4. This is a 6-cylinder. So, now you know what's going on with it, so you can make a wise choice yourself. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.